The reason that I finally started writing the sutras, really what inspired the whole thing is I had an experience that was better than any experience I had ever had, where I touched something that I had always wanted to touch in a way that I could touch it repeatedly until eventually I could live inside of it, and I wanted everyone who wanted that experience to have it. There's no way that you can have it and not want everyone to have it. And sometimes I was overly zealous, and sometimes I withdrew from fear, and there's a whole set of things that now the sutras can do. It won't be up to my personality to make the communication. The first silo is the principles, because you really are going to another country. You're going to a non-rational world, not irrational, non-rational, meaning the rational has become the servant to intuition as opposed to the reverse, which is how we operate. It's a radically different operating system. It's an incredibly effective, intelligent, and sentient operating system that gets denigrated, but it is absolutely exquisite in how well it works. So you need some orientation. That's what the principles will do, is just help you to orient to these crazy things, having level, the idea of mutuality, and such. The second silo then talks about tumescence, the experience of discomfort that occurs when you clamp down on desire and congestion builds in the place that you clamped down. And all of a sudden you're seeing life through the lens of that congestion. The primary experience of looking through this lens is one of insufficiency. I'm insufficient, you're insufficient, and life is insufficient. From there comes a whole set of beliefs, if only, and then a whole set of activities, because now you're trying to build a sufficiency that's already inside of you. It's about as comprehensive as you could get in terms of the practice, because I wanted everyone to have the passion that I have for how complex and beautiful and infinite it is. And also to make sure, the idea is really to learn to play the body like an instrument and be played like an instrument, so that you can have that experience in life, so that a stroke can come from life and you know how to respond. Or it may be time to put out a stroke in life and you'll know how to do it. So very comprehensive practice section, and that to me is the most important section, because that's the place where we all get sovereign. It gives you your own access to your own power and your own voice that lets you determine who you are in this collective of human beings, and how to be fully, uniquely who you are in interconnection. And both of those parts are equally important. The number one question I always got from women around the practice was, oh, do I have to do it with someone? There's this idea that being separate or not connected is superior, not at the mercy of anyone. And I would say we rob ourselves of what truly, truly brings fulfillment when we aren't living in full connection. And I would say, thank God, no, you can't do it alone, because you can't bring yourself out of control. And it's only when we're out of control that we have access to Eros. Eros gives you erotic insights into the way of things, into the way of the feminine way of things. What I realized is that most of the things that I was seeing out there were trying to present outcomes as solutions. So I was listening to someone, a very articulate someone, who said, oh, the way we will heal the climate is that we will go back to a feeling of awe and grandeur. To me, awe and grandeur is an outcome of a good practice. I don't know many people who know how to just manufacture a sensation of awe and grandeur. I don't know many people who know how to manufacture a sensation of gratitude. That is who we are. It happens when you have a practice that removes the congestion. And so I wanted it to be that everyone had the mechanics for how to build a mind that can operate according to natural law in connection with other human beings, where you get to be a unique and sovereign individual and get to be intimate with all things. The last section then Begins with using these principles for healing. Then there's using these principles for connection in terms of your relationship, in terms of your sexuality, in terms of your identity as a man or a woman, and it is a man or a woman in this, and those who live in non-binary realities can apply the underlying principles to their experience. Then we go into liberation, and what we do is we take the 8 stages of Eros or orgasm as are written in the practice section, and we blow them up into how to apply those to the mind for liberation of the mind. And the final section is the social justice section. There's a very radical principle there. The challenge at this time is not to get power. The challenge at this time is for all of us to take the mantle of our power, which is actually far more challenging than we would imagine. Then something profound will happen in the culture. And I think that's when we'll see the time when the meek shall inherit the earth. And so will everyone else, and it'll be an earth that we want to be on. The whole sutras exist to show how we do that. And it begins with the rational mind surrendering to the body. It begins with the stroker surrendering to the sensations of the strokee, and discovering that that surrender is the source of fulfillment. It is the deepest level of gratification that we can get.